Hey, so all you need to know about buying or selling an Amazon account is going to be in this video. So we're going to have questions and answers that are connected to this topic. In the description, we're going to have all the timestamps for all the questions. So if you're looking for something specific, it's going to be down in the description. If you have any more questions on this topic, then feel free to ask them in the comments. Today with me, Omer. He is part of Trust the Brokers, which is the biggest agency in Israel that helps people sell or buy Amazon businesses. Omer also helps people buy or sell their Amazon accounts. And he himself is 12 years in e-commerce. He's a seller on Amazon. He's a lawyer and many things to his name. I believe that I'll let him introduce himself. And my name is Vova. I'm a seller on Amazon since 2016 and a creator here on YouTube with over 350 videos for you. So Omer, man, how are you today, bro? Can you introduce yourself to us? And then we're gonna jump into the questions and answers about Amazon accounts.
Yes, so great to be here. Thanks for having me. Let me give you a little bit of background about me. So yeah, like Vova said, I've been doing e-commerce for the past 12 years, 7 years exclusively doing Amazon. I have multiple FBA stores. I'm a leading consultant. I'm also a lawyer. I'm head of Amazon department at Trust the Brokers. We help buyers and sellers sell their FBA businesses. And I also deal with buying and selling Amazon accounts.
Great to have you here today, man. And hopefully we're gonna help our viewers and listeners with their Amazon accounts. So again, as I mentioned, we're gonna talk about buying and selling them. So here's my first question. So why should we even think of buying or selling an Amazon account?
So why would you consider selling your account? Many sellers have previously sold something on Amazon, many of them from a long time ago, years ago, when it was much, much easier and more profitable to most sellers. A lot of these accounts are basically just sitting, usually costing around $40 a month for the subscription, for the professional plan. Mm-hmm. And basically what I'm telling these guys is your account is worth money. Okay, you can get paid for it rather than just, having it laid around and not in any use. Okay, so that would be the main reason for you to sell your Amazon account. Now, why would you buy an Amazon account? So there's lots of reasons. For example, you already have an existing brand, but you would like to open another brand, something in a different category, for example. Okay, most sellers, would prefer doing this on another account. Why? Because you don't want to risk the first account that you already have and own. Another reason is you are selling, for example, private label product on an existing account, and you want to start doing arbitrage or drop shipping. It would be better to do this on a separate account. Another example is you have reached out the maximum amount of units that you can ship to Amazon.
Interesting.
If you have another account, you can use that to sell off your existing inventory as well. Okay. Another reason, you want to test something out and you don't want to do it on your account that's doing very well. You don't want to risk doing something that can cause your account to get deactivated or blocked, etc. So that's basically the main reasons you would want to buy another account.
I hear what you're saying. So you're saying, Omer, man, that people who want to usually sell an account, maybe they were not successful on Amazon and they just stopped selling or just stopped selling because of many different reasons. And then instead of paying monthly $40, then they can just sell an account. And I can add to that, man, something interesting. One of my friends actually sold his account, I think in the last year in 2021. He mentioned that it was like a burden that sort of was lifted off his shoulders because he was like, all these years, he was like, will I get back to selling? Should I get back? And he was doing like consulting in the sphere sort of, and it just was something sort of on his heart, on his shoulders, wherever you put it, right? And then when he sold it, he mentioned that he felt much better. Like he felt like, whoa, like I'm finally not a seller, and here it is. Like I decided I'm right. So that's interesting as well.
I completely agree with you.
Yep.
We hear this. We hear this every day.
Right.
Every day, because even if you're not active on Amazon, it's like you're saying, you're still carrying it around. You know that you have an account. You're seeing every month those fees, and then it gets you thinking, maybe I will go back to it someday. I don't want to close the account, things like that. So when you sell the account, you lift that burden off your shoulders.
Right. And you get money for that. So that's pretty cool as well.
That's the bonus part.
Right. And then when you want to buy an account, again, maybe you're an active seller, you have a brand that is established and you don't want to mix between new products on the same account, maybe, or maybe you want, as you mentioned, rather try new things, try some things connected to listings, maybe playing with the system a little bit. And you're like, well, I don't want to do that on my main account. So I want to buy another account, and many various reasons like that people buy themselves an account. Again, it's like less risk pretty much, right?
Exactly.
And
that's what we all want with any type of business. We want to reduce the risk. And if everything is on one account, okay. And I'm sure everyone that's ever tried to sell anything on Amazon knows this. Sometimes we're careless, and sometimes an account can get deactivated for so many different reasons that we have zero control over. Sometimes, it's just one customer complaint and your entire account is shut down. Okay, so why risk your entire business for that?
Yeah, so you spread the risk by having a few accounts. I want to also remind to our viewers, those who are interested in selling or buying accounts, we're going to have down in the description a link that is going to be like a little form to fill, and then you can see if you can sell your account or you want to buy. It depends. It's going to be down in the description to contact Omer and his team. And then the next question I have is, what are different types of Amazon accounts?
Okay, so that's a good question. Okay, so basically the accounts that we're interested in are your seller accounts. Okay, some seller accounts also have buyer accounts connected to them, but your buyer account, okay, that's used for buying stuff on Amazon. Okay, so we are exclusively discussing now seller accounts. Okay, accounts that are connected to the Amazon Seller Central system.
And you're saying there's a buyer account and a seller account. Now we're talking about the seller accounts, but there are like Amazon sort of seller accounts, and there's like Amazon business sort of accounts. What is the difference here?
Exactly. Okay, so that's a great question. Okay, so Amazon businesses, it's usually a private label brand that's active and selling and is profitable. Okay, that's something that sells in multiples of the yearly or monthly profit of a business. Okay, versus an Amazon account that's usually not active, not selling. Sometimes there's a remainder of inventory there, but it's not something that's profitable. Okay, so that's the main difference. And of course, the value of an Amazon account, just the account, is less than an active Amazon business.
Right.
Amazon businesses are sold these days for millions of dollars in some cases, where Amazon accounts, they start anywhere between $500 for an account with zero history, and they can go up to as much as, I've seen accounts go for up to about 30K, something like that.
No, that's interesting, man. So you're saying that, again, there's normal Amazon accounts that are just usually laying there. That's just an account. There's no active business there. Or there's a business that also comes with the account, usually private label. So again, maybe a private label that's selling maybe $1 million revenue a year, profitable $200,000. It's going to have some multiplier to it, maybe X4, X5. Depends really on many factors. And as mentioned before, normal accounts that are just dormant, but they have the option for people to do stuff on them. That brings me to the next question, is like, so what influences the value of an Amazon account then? Like maybe,
Okay.
as you mentioned, there you've seen $500, you've seen 30,000. Like, wait a minute, like what's up here?
Exactly.
Like,
Okay, so the cheaper accounts would have either zero selling history or very little. They would
mm,
be new accounts, say 2021, 2022, open, I don't know, recently or a few months ago. More expensive accounts would be older accounts. I've seen accounts as old as 98. Okay, so that's like,
98, man. Wow, that's an old account, man.
yeah.
All right.
But not too many. You don't
Yeah.
see too many of those. When we
Wow.
talk about aged accounts, they're usually anywhere between, I don't know, 2005 to
Mhm.
2017,
Wow.
18. Those are nice aged accounts, but you can also see aged accounts with high sales revenue, from 2019, 2020. And that plays a major role
Mm,
in evaluating the account price. Okay, is the sales volume. Okay, if you sold, I don't know, $2,000 worth of products or $1 million worth of
mm.
products. Okay, so that plays a high,
Like a role in this valuation,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically one factor. Another factor we look into is your seller ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we look at both how many seller ratings you have and the average score. And just to be clear, we're not talking about the product reviews you have on the actual product detail page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that does not move forward with the account.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
the seller ratings are related directly to that account.
Yes.
So the more ratings you have and the higher they are, the more likelihood that you will be able to get more for your account. Another factor we take into consideration is the account health. Do
Mm-hmm.
you have violations, whether it's currently or previous violations? Okay, so the cleaner the account, okay, the more chances there are you're going to get paid more for it. Another factor that we look into, do you have any open categories, especially
Mm.
categories that are hard to open? And many of these categories, it costs money to basically open them. So, whether it's ungated categories, whether it's leading brands that the account is able to sell. So all those things would raise the value of the account.
Right. So, as you mentioned, things like age of the account. So, if it was created a longer time ago, revenue, the more was sold in the account, probably will give it a higher price. Clear history of violations, stuff like that. So, good account health, good feedbacks on the seller, not on the products. Products are different. This might be if you're selling it to, like, if you're selling the business, then obviously you're like in the product with 2,000 reviews. That's different though. Here we're talking about the account. That's only account feedbacks, right?
Exactly.
And also categories maybe that are open or closed. The more open categories you have, the more it's gonna cost. So if somebody comes to you and says like, Omer, man, all right, I have an account that I want to sell, then you check his account sort of. Are you gonna sort of go
Exactly.
with him
Exactly.
and then tell him, all right,
Exactly.
so here you have like 98% positive feedbacks. Okay, that means that it's worth more and stuff like that. So you're actually going to be able to help people evaluate, because maybe somebody has an account and he sold in 2016, he had a successful business, then maybe quit or whatever, he doesn't even remember much. You can go with him and help them, right? With the
Exactly. So everything is very transparent with us. We usually check the account together with the seller, like with AnyDesk or Zoom, stuff like that. We go over the account
Mm.
with them. We show them everything, from when the account was open, violations, basically everything that's in there. And according to that, we evaluate the business.
Right. And again, I want to remind our listeners or viewers that in the description, we're going to have a form to see if your account fits, let's say, if you want to sell it or buy it. And also, it brings me to the next question. All right, so maybe somebody's thinking right now, Omer is like, okay, maybe I want to sell, but how do I know if it's safe? Is it a safe process? Like, that might be an interesting question.
Okay, so yes, it's safe if you do it with trustworthy people. I can tell you that there are a lot of scammers out there, just like, in every field, and you should buy or sell, to people that you trust, that have a reputation in this field and that are experienced in this field. I've heard of so many cases where people transferred their accounts. The buyer on the other end, suddenly disappeared, or people that have transferred money for an account and they received nothing.
Wow, no account.
Exactly. Yeah. So, there's wherever there's money to be made, there's scammers, unfortunately, and
Yeah, true.
there's nothing we can do about it. But you can be, cautious. And I can also tell you, if something sounds too good, and this is relevant, to anything in life, it probably is. Okay. If you're seeing an account and it's, I don't know, much less than the real value, okay, there's a good chance it's a scam.
I understand, man. So you're saying like generally it's safe if you're working with people who know the process, who have experience in the process, have been through this process a lot. Maybe some other people recommend them. And if we're seeing something that's unrealistically too good, maybe that's an opportunity, who knows? But usually, based on my experience too, man, in life, like something's weird there, all right?
Yeah.
And the next thing I want to ask is like, all right, so based on that, what is then the process of the transaction? Because you mentioned sometimes somebody pays money, doesn't get the account, or many other problems. What's the process that you have for transfer of an account? Maybe from buyer side, from seller side. How does it work, man? That's interesting.
Okay, so usually we request approval from Amazon to change basically all the information regarding the account, and then also if there's any future issue, then it shows in the history of the account that we received permissions to make these changes. Okay, so that's the first thing we do. The next thing that basically we do is we change all the information on the account. There's credit cards there, bank account details, addresses. Sometimes, you transfer from an individual person to an LLC or vice versa. So all these things, they need to be done, and there's a certain way to do them. We do them or we help out in this process.
Right. So that's the process of changing what's the name for that? From who owns the asset to another owner.
Legal entity.
Legal entity. Yeah. That was what I was missing, I think. And then, but okay, I understand. So that means like Amazon then is going to recognize that sort of the new person is here and it's sort of his thing now. And what about the transfer of the money? Like, when does it happen? Like, that's also something if it's okay to, I can understand you have a process, right? But still, like, just curious, because listeners probably are interested in that.
Okay, so there's two ways. Either transfer the full amount and then you receive access to the account, or usually sending half of the price prior, half of the amount prior, and then the second half once receive the account. If you don't trust the person on the other side, or you don't recognize them or whatever, you can always use an escrow service or guarantor service for the payment itself. Basically, you transfer the money to a third party and they hold it. Okay, and only once the account is received and acknowledged, then they release the payments. This usually costs an extra fee, but it's totally worth it. Okay, and if you're buying from someone that you previously bought with and you trust them, you don't need this.
I hear what you're saying, man. Which also leads me to the question: like, at which point do we know that everything's fine? Like, once we're able to log in on our computer, or once what? Like, when do we know that sort of, okay, we're good to go and the deal is done and everyone's happy? Like, what's the...
Okay, so usually transferring of the account completely, usually it takes a few days because the changes are not done simultaneously. We change legal entity and the bank details and the credit card and all the addresses, but it's not done at the same time. So I would say usually this process takes a few days. We also, recommend, if you've ever owned an Amazon account or own one, we don't recommend installing it on the same computer with the same IP. We usually use, VPS servers, stuff like that. If you need help with that, we can help with that as well. And basically, any new account needs new identity information. So, you don't use the same credit card, you don't use the same bank details.
Interesting.
If you already have an account on a legal entity, you don't use that same legal entity. You either open a new LLC or you register the account on someone else.
Yeah, man. Interesting. So that's the process. And it sounds like you guys know what you're doing. And then if a seller has any questions, then of course they can ask. Obviously, the
Yes,
sellers are
of course.
listening.
And there usually are questions.
Plus
There usually are questions.
Yeah, and plus the sellers who are going to be in the process with you, they of course can ask any question and you're going to help them. Omer, which leads me to my next question. So maybe somebody's looking to sell an account. He's like, right, so I want to make the most out of it. Like, I have my asset and yeah, I want to sell it, but can people do something to maximize the value of their asset, their account? What can they do for that?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great question, because Amazon is constantly changing everything with regards to the account. In the past, you could have an account not active, sometimes even for years. And then if one day you chose to start selling again, you could do that. Recently, Amazon has started basically deactivating accounts that are not active in the past few months. Okay, so if you would need to reactivate the account, you would need to basically go through their verification process again. And, it's just, you would want to avoid that. You would need to, upload government ID and new bank details, credit card, stuff like that. So if you're thinking of, selling your Amazon account, I would advise to keep it on a professional plan, okay? Because no one would want to buy an account that's on an individual plan.
Yeah.
Okay, and that also usually, can take a few days to get approved. So if you're thinking of selling, keep it on a professional plan. Make sure that there are no hidden fees, future fees. Maybe you have old inventory in the account. It's collecting fees, and the older their inventory is, the more it's going to cost. So I would recommend removing the inventory as well. Okay, because people that are looking to buy accounts, they usually want the account clean.
Yeah. So you're saying, like, if you want to maximize the value of the account, have a professional account that helps, and don't downgrade it to, I don't remember the normal seller account.
Individual plan.
Individual plan. Yeah, exactly. So rather have it on professional. Plus, if you have any stock that's just not moving, maybe you can try to move it somehow, because then the buyer will have to move it, and that means you will get paid less, I believe, right?
Exactly.
Which makes sense, right? If there's
it's a hassle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a hassle, and it costs money. And not only that, it's good for the account to keep it active and and running, rather than just have it laying around with no recent sales. Because that's one of the questions we get asked most. When was the last sale of the account? People that are looking for accounts to start selling soon, they want accounts that are selling, okay, not accounts that have stopped selling years ago. And then you need to grow them slowly.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. And probably have good feedback on the account, like feedback ratio, and no health problems.
No health issues.
Yeah.
No major, violations, stuff like that. It usually shows, in the performance section.
Yeah.
You can see that. So yeah, an account that had many issues like that would be less attractive for buyers.
I see, man. And Omer, why should people work with you specifically? I mean, there are different people who offer these services. You do offer them. You're a seller, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's definitely more points to you because you're an active seller on Amazon, so you know things. Plus, you're a lawyer. That's that's good credibility. But aside of these things, why would people want to work with you? Let's say.
Okay, so the main reason is experience. I've transferred, hundreds of accounts successfully in the past years, and you don't have to go with me. But do it with someone who's experienced, because I've seen so many accounts, that are just as they are transferred, they get deactivated for so many, different reasons. Mainly it's due to lack of experience, related accounts using, using same computer, same IP, same credit card, same name, same address, things like that.
Yeah, so you're saying you've been in the game for a while and you've done
Yes,
that with
yes.
many
I've
accounts.
been doing this for years now.
Yeah.
Transferred hundreds of accounts successfully. Whatever you choose, I don't recommend doing the process alone. If
Yeah.
an account gets deactivated, in many cases,
Mm.
you'd have a very hard time getting it back. Even if you do, it's probably going to cost you more money.
I hear you, man. I hear you, man. So in the description, we're going to have a link to a form. If you're interested in selling your account or buying an account, then Omer can help you with that. There's going to be a form, fill it up, and then he and his team will see if they can help you or not. That's going to be an affiliate link. Means that if you ever do business with Omer and his team, I'm going to get a little commission from that at no extra cost to you. But in this way, it's possible to support my free content here on YouTube, which I create for you on like pretty much weekly basis, a few times a week. And Omer, man, before we wrap it up, anything else maybe you wanted to mention that you didn't, or just some advice that we didn't talk in that topic or any topic pretty much?
Well, I think I think we pretty much covered everything, but I'm sure there's always new questions that arise, and you can of course contact Vova or leave a comment below, and we'll be happy to reply to you.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to do that. So any comments, anything, shoot them in the comment section. We're going to get back to you. Again, all the contacts of Omer and the form you can fill is also in the description. Thank you very much, Omer. Thank you very much, listener, viewer. May everyone have a great week.
Thanks.
Thank you.